topic of this webinar is called You Are in Customer Service. So let's get into the program today. Let me show you today's program. So today we're going to start by making a reflection. We're going to reflect for a moment. Then we're going to talk about important people. We're going to look at some mission statements. We're going to look into something called the wow factor. We're going to talk about the challenge. And finally, we're going to talk a little bit about empowerment. We can move on then. Okay, so let's reflect for a moment. Okay, let's reflect for a moment. So in this slide, I propose you the following. It says here, today you and I are connected. Okay, today you and I are connected. And the question is, why are we connected and who invited you? Okay. I guess the easy answer here, who invited you? Well, basically you were invited by CAMEX. CAMEX, I guess the pronunciation will be CAMEX. CAMEX invited you to this series of webinars happening from Monday to Friday at different hours. And so basically, who invited you? CAMEX invited you to connect to this webinar. Now, why are we connected? And I guess the answer comes here. Because we are connected, because there's an interesting topic today. That's one motivation, that's one driver. Another driver or another motivation is that you want to practice your English, so you decided to connect so you can listen to this webinar and see how good is your understanding of English. So that's another driver, okay, another thing that motivates you to do something. Okay, so an interesting topic, and because you wanted to practice your English. And of course, the who invited you, you were invited by CAMEX. Okay, and so basically those are the reasons, perhaps some of the reasons why you are connected. Okay, another maybe reason for being connected here today on a Wednesday at 9 p.m. is the fact that this is free. So it's free. So if it's free, then you might as well take advantage of this. Now, you might ask yourself, why am I doing this reflection? Okay, what is the intention of this reflection? Okay, so the reflection here, okay, this reflection is going to help you understand what's going to happen in the next part of this presentation. But basically, okay, think about the concept of what is happening today and what are you receiving today. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. Okay. Okay, so on the next slide, we have the following. You see, who are they? Okay, you have 4 people here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So who are they and what do they do? So we have Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Jeff Bezos, and Harris Diamond. Okay, Harris Diamond. Okay, the next slide. So we said Steve Jobs is from Apple, Jeff Bezos is from Amazon, Harris Diamond is from McCann Erickson, and of course Bill Gates from Microsoft. Okay, everybody's familiar with Microsoft, and I guess everybody's familiar with Apple, and everybody's familiar with Amazon. And are you familiar with McCann? Let me give you a help there. McCann is a is an advertising or a publicity agency. Their business is to create commercials. Okay, they create commercials for many important companies such as Coca-Cola, Volkswagen, and some Peruvian brands like, well, some Peruvian advertising like for Sodimac, um, BCP, Interbank, and other very famous advertising or advertising campaigns. Okay, so now we're going to see some famous quotes. Okay, some famous mission statements. A mission statement is a declaration. We could say it's a declaration, and this declaration has to do with what is the mission or what is the main job or the purpose of an organization. Okay, so I would say that the mission is basically the purpose of an organization or a company. Okay, so in this case, we have the first one you can read here. It says, to be the Earth's most customer-centric company, to build a place where people can come to find and discover anything they might want to buy online. So this mission statement was said by, this is the mission statement of Amazon. Amazon, as you know, is the biggest internet, the biggest online company. Okay, so Amazon, the mission, okay, the purpose for the existence, I guess we could say that, for the existence of Amazon is to be the Earth's most customer-centric company. So for Amazon, the customer is the most important person. So the customer is in the middle. He's the most important, and else is everything else revolves around the customer. So the customer is the most important person, and that is the vision of Jeff Bezos. Now, the next one here. It says here, our mission is to be recognized as category of one in our ability to create demand for our customers' brands and services. This is the statement of McCann Erickson. Okay, so as you can see here, also McCann has centered or has focused his mission statement, okay, to consider the customer. So any advertising campaign, any commercial that McCann Erickson produces is basically the best for their clients because their clients are the most important person. So any decision is in favor of the customer. Okay, so this is the mission, the statement of McCann Erickson. Okay? Now, this statement, I guess, is a longer statement, but I think is a statement or a declaration that combines many things. Okay, so this statement is very powerful, okay, because it includes a lot of things to be considered for any service or any product that you offer to your customers. Okay, it says here, your most unhappy customers are your greatest source of learning. Okay, it says your most unhappy customers are your greatest source of learning. So let's reflect for a moment in this first part, which says your most unhappy customers are your greatest source of learning. So what are they trying to say? What is in this case, and let me help you out here, this is basically said by Bill Gates, okay, of Microsoft. So what is Bill Gates trying to say? Okay, I guess the other part of the declaration will help you. It says here, the majority of unhappy customers don't enjoy being unhappy. And the reason for not being happy is for them is maybe because of the company. So the responsibility for the customers for being unhappy is one of the causes is the company. So maybe the company is not very good. Maybe the product, or maybe the customer service experience. So this is very important because a customer is unhappy not because of him, but because of maybe the company, the product, or the service. But at the end of the day, everything has to do with the product or the experience. Okay? So, for Bill Gates, unhappy customers are a source of learning. So we can say that for Bill Gates, this is like a source of inspiration. Okay, so by analyzing the customer and what happened, any experiences of the customer, then the next time the customer asks for a service, then the company is going to be able to provide the user with a better product or with a better service. So the next part of the statement says, by listening to the valid grievances of these customers, so you have to listen to whatever the customers have to say. So by listening to the valid grievances of these customers, businesses can identify their shortcomings and turn unhappy shoppers into satisfied brand advocates. All right. So in this case, then, for Bill Gates, he considers that unhappy customers are like an inspiration, and they can learn from the grievances, the bad experiences, or the shortcomings, the difficulties they might have. And after solving all of these difficulties, bad experiences, then these happy customers will transfer into a brand advocate or a brand ambassador. Next one. This one says you've got to start with the customer experience and work back toward the technology, not the other way around. Okay, this statement was said by Steve Jobs. Okay, Steve Jobs said this. You got to start with the customer experience and work back towards the technology, not the other way around. So in this case, again, Steve Jobs considers that the customer experiences is the most important. So anything you do, anything you plan has to be in favor of the customer. Okay? So, and this rule is true for any kind of service or any kind of product. Okay, so the customer is at the center, and anything we do is in favor of the customer. Okay, not the other way around. Okay, so let's continue then. So this brings us to a definition of what is customer service. This is another definition of customer service. Says here the support you offer to your customers before and after they buy your product or service, and this helps the customer to have an easy and enjoyable experience. Okay, so this is customer service. Okay, customer service. So in this case, for example, if I buy a computer and I need to install a software or I have some questions, then of course there is customer service or support, the support area, where they will give me some instructions, and with those instructions then I can, you know, have a much better or an enjoyable experience. Okay, an example of this, for example, in this webinar, for example, I have two people from Camex that are like my support. So in case I have some difficulties with the platform or with the software, or any difficulty I might have or any questions I might have, then I can contact them and they will give me the support so that my experience will be a stress-free experience. Okay, so this is like customer service. Okay, also, okay, but this service is provided at different moments. Okay, so is before or after you buy something. Okay, so in this case of the software, it's after, or it could be during. For example, right now, if I had a problem or you guys had a problem with the connection or some technical problem, you can call this the support area, and the support area will provide you with a solution to your problem so that you wouldn't have any other difficulties. Okay, so this is another definition of customer service. As you can see here, indirectly they're saying that this area or this department is created in favor of the customer so that the customer will have a nice experience, a stress-free experience. Okay? Okay, so let's continue. Now, this is a quote that I found, and I think this also summarizes the concept of customer service. It says here, customer service is not a department, it is an attitude. Okay, so basically the concept of customer service should not be pictured as a department, but this should be pictured as a way of life. Okay, it's an attitude. So we are here for you. We are here to help. Okay, so that's what customer service is all about. And again, this applies to any product or any service that we provide. Okay, so customer service is not a department, it is an attitude. And unfortunately, the author of this is unknown. Okay, next slide. Now, something that is also mentioned, something that Jeff Bezos calls is the wow factor. Jeff Bezos, remember the guy from Amazon? The wow factor. For Amazon, it says here, we see our customers as invited guests to a party, and we are the hosts. It is our job every day to make every important aspect of the customer experience a little bit better. Okay, so again here, this wow factor. So you have to surprise your customer. Okay, so your customer says wow. Okay. Okay, now the question here, how do we surprise our customer? And the answer comes from our friend Bill Gates. You have to find creative, highly intelligent people and somewhat disruptive. Zero tolerance to low performance. So in order for the customer to have a wow experience, we need to have people in the organization that are creative, disruptive, intelligent, and basically high performance people. So by doing this, you can guarantee that your product, your service is absolutely wow for the customer. Okay? All right. Another thing, to be able to make decisions in favor of the customer, then we will have to use something that is called empowerment. Empowerment. What if I wrote it like this? You have the word here, power. So it's empowerment. So it has to do with power. It has to do with power. So basically, it has to do with giving power to somebody. Is the following. Empowerment is give power and authority. The reason why I wanted to include this as a tool, empowerment, is because in order to make all the decisions in favor of the customer, we need to be empowered. We need to have the power in our hands to make the decisions. And we also need the authority to make the best decisions in favor of our customers. Okay? So that's why empowerment is a very important tool to provide customer service. Okay? Now, this is kind of a reflection, a final reflection I want to do with you guys today. Do you remember this? This appeared, I guess, last week, right? And how did you know about this? And basically, we knew about this because of social media. So something that you have to consider when you are providing a service or you are offering a product is that anything you do can become viral very, very quickly. For example, this happened last week, Friday night, and I got a message in my WhatsApp, and I got a picture of this, basically just 20 minutes after this happened. Okay? So, what I'm trying to say with this is that what I call the chain. If you make customers unhappy in the physical world, they might tell 6 friends. And if you make customers unhappy on the internet, they can reach 6,000 friends. So what I'm saying here is the power of the social media. So we are constantly under the radar of social media. So anything we do will very quickly become viral and everybody will know about this. Okay? So this is another important thing when we offer a product and a service. This product and this service has to be very, very good and has to be almost perfect so that we don't get viral because this can ruin the reputation, our reputation, and this can ruin the product. So, for example, for this guy, right now, this guy, everybody is basically everybody doesn't like this guy, okay, because what he did, right? Okay, so this is what I said. The media is very powerful, so we have to provide a good service, otherwise our actions will be judged and go viral. So giving a good service is paramount, okay? Paramount means very important, okay? So I would say that's it. Thank you for your time and attention. And any comments or anything, my name is Luis Pastor, and have a nice evening, and hope you like it.